Awesome.
A very warm welcome to one and all present here. I am Archit Patro, a representative from ISTE-VIT, will be your host for today's webinar, ISTE'S Alumni Connect in association with VITA. Indian Society for Technical Education is the leading national professional non-profit society for the technical education system with the motto of career, personality, and holistic development of the students for our technical education system. Our objective is to create and assist top quality professional engineers whose skills and capabilities are sought after by larger industries and organizations. We organize technical workshops, hackathons, codathon to find and enhance the hidden skills in the student. VIT Vellore is known to have produced a proud set of alumni, one among whom we have with us is a skilled UIUX developer and a product marketing manager at Zuddl, Mr. Ansh Mehra. I would like to welcome you, sir, on behalf of ISTE-VIT.
Thank you, Arshit. Super happy to be here. So, can I take the stage? Can I begin the session?
Yes, sir, the stage is all yours.
Awesome. So, folks, not going to waste too much time with my intro. Let's just get right into it. The title for today's session was An Alumni Connect, and we will have our Q&A at the end of this session. But the most important topic that I wanted to cover is the entire subject of breaking into the space of UX design. Now, every time you see the word UX, you will find a lot of people say UI UX. This is the first lesson that I want to teach everyone that this is absolutely the worst way to call this subject. From now on, you will always say UX design because UI is actually a part of UX. So when you say that I study UX design, it is assumed that you have already finished UI design. So the first lesson of today is that moving forward, we will not say UI UX, we'll just say UX design. So what will we learn today? We'll figure out what is UX design and what is UI design. Then what are the softwares and the requirements to become really good at this subject? What do you need to learn? How much time does it take? And how do you become good enough to get a good job? Then we'll figure out what is Figma. It's a very important software that you will have to learn as a UX designer. And how does it work? And what is a good practical roadmap that you can follow to become a proper UX designer? Now, a very common assumption that students have is that you get an idea, you start coding, and then you release it and make millions of dollars. That is not how it works. The reality is that when you have an idea, you first design it. And once you have designed it and tested it and sort of made prototypes for your users, once it is confirmed, then you shift to coding. Why do we do that? Because testing, making changes, and just figuring out your idea is way more simpler and way more faster in design. So even if you have to change the color of all the buttons in your UI, it will just take you 10 minutes on your Figma files. But if you had to code it, it would take you easily half an hour to make it everywhere. It's probably because in design, the tools are very simple. You can quickly get feedback, you can quickly make changes and move forward and test your designs. Whereas in coding, changing even the smallest of features takes a lot of time. So the question is that every single company, every single tech company that deals with apps or B2C softwares or even B2B softwares require a designer to make a blueprint of how their features are going to look like, to make a map for the developers. The developers will not code anything until unless they have files from the designer. But before we move forward, since all of you are in the same college as me, let me share you my story. How did I begin? So I always wanted to be a filmmaker, but I switched from filmmaking to engineering to UX design. I have a YouTube channel. If you go on YouTube and search Ansh Mehra, you will find some movies that I made when I had not joined VIT. This was before VIT when I used to make a lot of videos. So this was a movie that I made called Carbonated around like chemistry lab experiments. Pretty fun times. Inside VIT, I got a lot of opportunities. I used to compete a lot of these hackathons. Within VIT, when I was in my third year, I had an opportunity to visit Hack MIT in Boston. I went to ISTE-VIT Vellore in Bangalore. I went to ISTE Vellore in Bangalore. I went to ISTE Vellore in Bangalore.
The audience is asked to be patient. The speaker will join again. It has been a connection issue.
Folks, I'm back.
Yes, sir.
Super sorry. It rarely happens, but it happened tonight. So, okay, do I have to do something or we are live already?
We are live, sir.
Awesome. Let me just screen share. Cool. So when I was at Hack Howard, we worked on a few interesting projects, and then I had an opportunity to visit Imagine Cup as well. So all of these small experiences taught me a lot about how I can make products. The reason why I chose tech from all of the previous creative passions that I had is simply because the world of pixels moves really faster than the world of atoms. Like that is why we study science and engineering, right? And this is something that I've learned from Peter Thiel. He has this very interesting book called Zero to One. I would recommend every student, especially young engineering students, to read that book. It is on startups. After all of these hackathons, I interned with Swiggy. And once I started interning with Swiggy later on in 2020, I got an email, I got an opportunity to work on a platform from scratch. So I got an email from the co-founders of Zuddl, Bharat and Veda, saying that we have an idea around virtual events. Can you help us design it? So I switched from Swiggy to Zuddl and literally started everything from scratch. We were designing something which went from zero to one. In parallel, I started teaching on YouTube, on Instagram, met some very interesting people because of content creation, hosted a few interesting shows, met some of my idols, like including Sandeep Maheshwari. And last year, we actually raised our Series A of 13.5 million for Zuddl. We've been backed by Y Combinator. We have a pretty solid team, and today we have a unified platforms around events and webinars. So we help companies host B2B webinars that are really cool, and they convert and they get them more customers. So things are going pretty well on that end. Moving forward, this is how the journey goes. Like you never really pick something and realize that, oh, this is what I want to do. So it's an iterative process. Most of you will today figure out what UX is. You might pick it in the longer run, you might not pick it, but the important thing is to talk to more people and just keep iterating, because the universe is going to guide you from stop A to stop B. So what's important is that you collect as much information as you can and then figure out what works for you. Now, the question is, what is UX and UI? So this is an example of my website here, anshmehra.com. What you see visually, what is absolutely visible in front of you, is called the user interface. So all of these small things, this image, this text, this logo, all of it comes under UI. But if you notice, there's like a small toggle here that says switch lights on. So this is a very interesting feature that I've added. If you open my website after 6 p.m., it would open in the dark theme. If you open it in the day, it would open in a light theme. And if you don't like any of these default themes, you can always switch the lights on or off. In fact, it also checks, it first checks what part of the world you are in, then it calculates your time, then decides if you want to show the dark theme or light theme. All of these calculations are happening at the back end, right? It is a way to improve someone's user experience. There's a lot of logic behind each of these design elements. That entire umbrella is called user experience. So if user experience is this big umbrella, there are multiple subjects that come under it, and one of those multiple subjects is called UI design. That is why I said that if you say I am a good UX designer, you probably already work on UI. Now we've sort of entered an age where there are specializations, but yeah, that is why we don't say UI UX. Now, what is the software that you need to learn? There are two things. There's the subject, then there's the tool. When we talk about the subject, there is no end to what you can learn. So I will give you some resources as to how you can learn about UX. But when it comes to the tool, the only tool that you need to learn is called Figma, and it's available for free. You can go to figma.com and download it for free. It runs on any laptop. You don't need any coding, no prior experience. And to learn Figma, all you have to do is go to their YouTube channel. Figma has its own YouTube channel where there are three playlists. There is the Getting Started playlist, the Office Hours playlist, and the New Features playlist. If you watch all of these videos and document your learnings on a tool like Notion or Google Keep, I'm telling you, in 100 to 110 hours, you will know everything important there is to know about Figma. Now, let's address some common doubts. The first common doubt is, do I need an expensive laptop or a MacBook to become a designer? Absolutely no. Figma runs on cloud, it runs on any machine that you have. How much time does it take? So, as I said, there is the tool and then there is the subject. To learn the tool, you need around 100 to 150 hours. When it comes to the subject, to become good enough for getting paid clients or internships or anything, you have to spend at least 500 to 600 hours learning the subject. Where do you learn the subject? I will tell you in a while. Do I need to learn coding? Absolutely not. Do I need a design degree? If you can afford it without putting too much pressure on your pocket, absolutely go for it. But if you cannot afford a design degree easily, or if you are already pursuing a degree, you're done with your education, or maybe you're in a different job altogether, you can easily become a UX designer on your own without paying anyone even a single penny. It all depends on how consistent you are, what kind of resources you are referring to, and who are your mentors. In this day and age, a lot of important resources are available for free. A lot of good mentors are available for free. There's a lot of information on the internet, a lot of noise. So what you have to do is you have to find the signal within the noise. And in the upcoming 2 3 minutes, I'm going to show you where to find that signal. But in the end, if you spend 7 to 8 months learning this subject on this roadmap, you will very easily get your first internship and get enough experience. Now, before we move forward, this is around monetizing your skills, right? It's not just about learning UX, and it's also about putting yourself out there to get more opportunities. We have to understand how premiums work. There's something that is called value and another thing called as perceived value. These days, a lot of sneaker culture has come into the picture, right? Let's just assume that you have me and I have two friends, friend number one, friend number two, and both of them have their birthdays on this same date. So I have to get a gift for them. I love both of them equally. One of them loves sneakers like crazy. This guy is pretty neutral. I go to a sneaker store and buy two pairs of the same sneakers, the best out there, limited edition, supremely expensive, very, very cool. And I gift it to both of them. The guy who's a sneakerhead absolutely rates it 100 out of 100. He goes bonkers. Whereas for my second friend who's neutral to it, he likes it because it looks pretty and has good quality. But overall, his excitement level is just 70 out of 100. The gift is same, the time and age is same, but the value that both of my friends got were extremely different. So when we talk about this shoe right here, this is a terrible sneaker design. But if this is my shoe right here, of course, there is some value to it. But the real premium or the upsell is because of the perceived value. For this guy, the perceived value is very high. For my friend too, the perceived value is sort of mediocre. You have to not only increase your value, but also increase your perceived value by focusing on things like marketing, communication, knowing the right people, networking, knowing how to communicate your thoughts, taking care of yourself. taking care of your physique, your body language. A lot of these things count and help you improve your perceived value. Then there's a very cool concept of handoff tax. When you go on YouTube, just search for this name called Chris Do. He has a YouTube channel called The Future. If you're in graphic design, marketing, or any creative field, this YouTube channel is really going to help you. He talks about handoff tax. Let me give you an example. Let's see there's a water bottle, right? And water is originally in the forests. So there's a mountain, there's a stream coming, and in the forest, it's basically for 0 rupees. It is freely available. There's this guy number one. He lives in the forest, so he has access to this waterfall. He takes this water and sells it to a distributor, maybe at 5 rupees per bottle. This distributor takes lakhs and lakhs of bottles. This is my distributor. He takes the same bottle and sells it to a company which has a big brand. So this guy bought it at rupees 5, he sold it at rupees 10. This company is in touch with a lot of shopping malls and complexes. This company sells it again at 15 rupees. This shopping mall or whatever that is, like some store, is in very close proximity to your house. So then he sells the same item to you at rupees 20. On the other hand, this same shop or maybe this same company puts it in a different bottle, goes to a hotel and sells the same water bottle of the same quantity, maybe at rupees 90. So what's happening is that at every transaction, there is a handoff tax. The tax that you're paying at every transaction. This is where things become very interesting. Here, the tax was just, a 5 rupee extra on per bottle. Here, the tax was again maybe 5, 6 rupees extra per bottle. But when you go to the tail end of the transaction, the taxes go up to 10 to 20 rupees per bottle. And this person who's at the very end of the transaction does not even know how the waterfall works or how the distribution works. But just because the people at the end of the transaction are positioned properly, just because they are positioned in the right market, they know how to sell, they know where to position, they have a good brand, they get the maximum handoff tax, they get the maximum premiums without really getting into the nitty gritty details. When you go to a movie hall, you would realize that you would spend, say, 400 bucks on the tickets and maybe 800 bucks on the food. This is where they get the maximum amount of money. So this is actually where they have their small ticket sales, and this is where they actually upsell and make more money from their food products. But the question is, why do you pay so much? Even a water bottle or a small box of popcorn costs so much in a movie theater. Why? Simply because of convenience. If you're watching a movie, you can't leave it in the middle to have water from a cheaper source or from a cheaper market. At that point, you pay an extra premium simply because it is more convenient. In fact, everything that you have ever bought is simply because it is more convenient to buy it from someone than to source it yourself. If you are thirsty, it is not practical to go to the forests and source water for yourself. So you pay someone 30 bucks because you want to conveniently take a sip of water. When it comes to being a good professional designer, not just a designer, but any professional, you don't just have to work on your skill, but you also need to work on yourself as a person. Teaching skills is very easy, but teaching someone how to behave is very difficult. You have to balance your time in improving both your behavior, personality, and your skill sets. Because people pay for your work, but they also pay for the experience of working with you. You have to improve both. So, Arshit, how much time do we have? It's 6:56. How much time do we have?
So we have scheduled the event till 8:30. We have a lot of time.
Okay, awesome. So there are some absolute basics that I really want you folks to cover, something that I did not realize till I was in fourth year. And that is before you start investing in your learning, your skill sets, your whatever it is that you've been learning or doing, you have to invest in your nutrition, your sleep, and exercise. If you are not focusing on these three things, no matter how good you are at what you do, you will end up in a bad place. A lot of you are not eating the right kind of foods. A lot of you are not sleeping on time. A lot of you are not going to the gym every day or every alternate day. It is not going to hurt you now. It is going to hurt you after the age of 25. If you are into bad habits, you will not see the consequences today. You will see the consequences at the age of 25 or 26. I have friends who have done both. I have friends who invested in their nutrition, sleep, and exercise, and I see them where they are right now. I know friends who were in really bad habits, who never focused on their sleep, nutrition, and exercise, and I know where they are right now. Everybody has their own priorities, and a lot of them have this excuse that we did not know how important these things were. That is why we never focused on them. You will not have this excuse moving forward. Today, you've heard it from me. How do you do that? Simple habits, right? Try to have at least one fruit every day. Try to have dry fruits. As soon as you wake up, have a big glass of hot water. Maybe take a couple of, 7 seeds mixture, have it on an empty stomach. Make sure you do your cardio. Make sure you sleep on time. Make sure you invest in a good pillow. If you cannot invest in an expensive mattress or you can't put it in your hostel, you can always get a better pillow. These small, small things really add up in the longer run. Second, you regularly practice your enunciation, speech, and clarity. If you feel that you're weak in Hindi, you practice your Hindi. If you feel that you're weak in English, you practice English. You dedicate 30 minutes every day to make sure that your pronunciation is on point, that you speak clearly, that you have the ability to communicate your thoughts clearly. You don't go into this stage fright mode where if I put you in front of 10 important people, you don't know how to utter words smoothly. Because for you, your ability to communicate is extremely, extremely important, especially in creative careers where you don't just have to design, but you also have to sell your design. Third point, you are taking care of your skin, your hair, and your wardrobe. A lot of people who are very smart or very intellectually driven, they feel that these things don't matter and they pay the price in the longer run. I'm telling you, you can see my pictures from first year, second year, third year, fourth year. You will see how I was in my first year. You will see all the changes I inculcated in myself moving forward. And I will keep investing in these things because I now realize that everybody judges a book by its cover. Every single person on the planet will judge a book by its cover. They might not do it consciously, but they do it subconsciously. You can't change how the world works. So you understand the rules and you play by the rules and get the maximum benefit of other judgmental people. Make sure you do that. Make sure you focus on these three things. Fourth point, you understand when to talk and when to listen. Both of these traits are very, very important. I have a few friends who are really good talkers, but because they're so self obsessed, because they love talking, they forget when to listen. On the other hand, I have some people who are always listening and just forget that they also have to speak up and also talk. But this comes with experience. It's very difficult to give you a prescription of when to do what. But yeah, I just thought I will sort of point these things out. So once you figure out your skill, there comes level one. Like there's level one, level two, level three of this entire journey. Inside level one, you have to make sure that you regularly become better and better at the technical aspects of your job. So, as I said, there are some resources that you have to follow. One is you have to know Figma end to end. For that, there's Figma's YouTube channel. And I'll see, I have my YouTube channel where I've mentioned all these resources. So I'm not going to waste time telling you stuff that I've already mentioned on the internet. But you need to know Figma, you need to know prototyping, you need to know visual design, which is UI, right? And if possible, you need to know After Effects for motion graphics if you can do that. So basically, tactical hands-on skill. You should not be a person who just knows how to talk but not deliver. Then also focus on complementary skills that enhance your commercial value. Complementary skills are not directly related to your skills, but they add in a lot of value. So for example, for a video editor, knowing sound design is a very important skill. For a YouTuber, knowing how audio works is very important because you might watch a low quality video with a crisp audio, but you will not watch a very fancy video with terrible audio, right? So in UX design, the ability to prototype, the ability to do good visual design, the ability to communicate your own thoughts and make pitch decks and sell it to stakeholders is very, very important. These are the complementary skills. Third, document everything you learn. There is a software called Notion. I would recommend every single person to go to Google and figure out how Notion works. This one documentation software is going to change your life. I have been documenting everything that I've experienced in college on Google Keep. After VIT, I switched to Notion. Now I have like this big diary of resources and lessons and realizations that I've been documenting since the past 3 years. It has really helped me. And trust me, it takes 500 hours minimum. Please don't expect any miracles before you invest 500 hours. I never say 500 days because that is irrelevant. How many hours you spend is the real question without any distractions, right? Level two, I don't think we have to cover today, but just to quickly skim you through. First is being in the right state of mind. It doesn't matter what skills you learn today because 5 years from now, they're going to be redundant. If you know how to think, if you know how to do the average thing when everybody else is losing their mind, you will always be in a better boat. This is a quote that was shared in Psychology of Money. I think it's by Napoleon, but it's a wonderful quote. Make sure that you understand psychology and communication. How do people think? Make sure you know how to stay calm during chaos and just play the game knowing that it's just a game. Don't take yourself too seriously, otherwise, you will just lose it. Now, a lot of people ask me, do we need to buy some certifications? Do we need to buy a specific course? You don't have to buy anything. Anything. You don't need to do anything. Please learn from all the free content that is available on the internet. Make sure you document everything you learn on Notion. Once your free resources are exhausted, start working on paid projects and get paid. Once you have capital, then you can start buying your own courses. Now, if there's a very important link that I have, and I can share it here on my side, and maybe Arshad, you can just copy this link and share it across. Let me give that to you. This one link is your one stop destination to all the important resources that you need to get started as a UX designer. You will see testimonials of people who have learned this entire thing from scratch. You will have access to my YouTube channel. And I have made a course that is available in both Hindi and in English around UX design. 15 episodes that are going to take you through the entire journey. It will tell you how to start, how to learn, what are the plugins, tips, tricks, constraints? How do you make your first case study? How do you make your portfolio? How do you reach out to your recruiter? How do you behave in your first job? Every single lesson that I've collected in a big, big span, right? Everything that I've learned is available here for free. Now we are up for questions, but don't forget to tag me on Instagram if you learned something valuable. Make sure you put up a story right now, tag me on Instagram because it is only because of your word of mouth that I can reach more people. I'm on Instagram. My ID is anshmehra.work. If you have any doubts, you can always reach me on both Twitter and Instagram. On Twitter, I'm Ansh Mehra with three is at the end. And on Instagram, it's anshmehra.work. So now we can open the floor for questions. If we have any. Otherwise, we can just end the session and you can always reach out to me later on.
Thank you, sir. That was quite informative. Now we would like to go to a series of questions. So, uh, we would like to, our viewers would like to know about that. How important is the balance between academics and co-curricular activities, and how did you manage to get through it?
I feel like if you can maintain your 9 pointer CGPA, that is a huge blessing. The sooner you become a 9 pointer, the better it is, right? And it's not just about what you learn in academics, right? Like college teaches you how to manage your own time. College teaches you how to prioritize. If you're not able to get a good CGPA in college, it just shows it does not mean that you are not intelligent. You are pretty intelligent. That is why you passed the entrance exams. It's just that you don't know what to prioritize, how to study, and how to manage your own energy. So make sure that you're just doing all the important things that the college wants from you because I'm telling you, if you don't do it, it would just add up to your stress. And trust me when I say this, you have plenty of time to do both. You have absolutely plenty of time. There are three major issues that students face. If they say that I don't have the time, there are three issues. One, they don't know how to prioritize. Second, they don't know how to take help from other people. Third, they don't have the energy. So they might have time, but they don't have energy to execute a lot of things. When you don't have energy, I can give you 5 hours extra in a day and you will not do anything from them. You will just waste them playing games or doing some nonsense stuff. So make sure your energy is high. How do you raise your energy? By investing in your sleep, nutrition, and exercise.
Yes, sir. Speaking about college, as we know, VIT Vellore is one of the very competitive colleges inside and outside. So, how was your journey through it?
To be honest, dude, like it has been a very, very interesting journey because I met so many smart people in our college. And to be honest, now that I'm outside college, a lot of my friends who were in VIT are doing really well. They are working in really good companies. I'm talking about even UX designers. So there's another friend of mine, Divyanshu Nanwani. He was in my batch. He was in, I think, CSI VIT, and he's in London right now. He's working in some really good companies as a UX designer, right? And a lot of my friends are now doing masters, and I know that 5 years down the line they are going to be in very good places. So you are in a very good pool of students, but the thing is, you also have to become very valuable. Why would a valuable person hang out with you? Why would a smart person talk to you or come to you for discussions? They would do that if they feel that you are smart enough. So consistently work on yourself, consistently build yourself. You will not have these 4 years again. I'm telling you, these 4 years are game changers. You might not remember all the things that you're learning, but this entire process of becoming a nine pointer, the entire process of managing your time, managing your energy, it shapes you in a specific way. And that personality sticks with you because right now you are all very malleable, right? You are under influence. Anybody can stay with you for 6 months and change your personality. After college, it's going to be very difficult to change your behaviors. It's going to be very difficult to change how you think. So make sure you're hanging out with the right set of people. But the thing about right set of people is that they will not hang out with you until unless you bring value to the table. So focus on becoming valuable as a person, and soon better people will start including you in their plans. And then it's just like a snowball effect. Things will take care of themselves.
That was quite informative, sir. As you have told earlier, that students should have to take care of themselves, managing their sleep schedule and their diet as well. But that was the aspect of how a student manages his own time. Now, seeing you as a working individual and having your own YouTube channel, so how does your work-life balance has differed now, and what have you done to maintain it?
Yeah, so to be honest, I have very controversial views on this. I don't have a work life balance, and I think I work really hard, but the thing is, I really enjoy my work. So there are some times when I have to work on stuff that I don't like. And in those cases, I need some inspiration. So I probably listen to good music, talk to my friends, or watch a TV show, or maybe just go out for like a party over the weekends. And I make sure I enjoy my weekends thoroughly. But the thing is, even today, I'm working till 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the night. And I work almost 7 to 8 hours, minimum 7 to 8 hours on my stuff, right? And I might have gaps in them. But the thing is, I want some things in life. I really want them. So I am willing to work hard for them. I'm not punishing myself. What a lot of people do is they punish themselves by working hard. When I work hard, I don't feel like I'm punishing myself because I just want few things in my life. Like I just want to change some things in my life. And for that, I understand that I have to pay the price. It's not like I work consistently. I would work really hard for 10 days, then relax for 3, 4 days. And even in a single day, I work really, really single mindedly, like with high energy for like an hour, then take a break for 1 hour. Then again work really hard for an hour, then another break for a 1 hour. And trust me, if I don't feel like doing something, I don't do it. I legit say no to a lot of things. If I feel like I don't want to work for even 2, 3 days straight, I just don't work. Right? I do the bare minimum and then I just take rest because I know that if you're not having fun, if you're not driven about it, if you're not inspired about it, it will start reflecting in your work. Once it starts reflecting in your work, your quality will go down. So yeah, I don't have any work-life balance to be honest because I want some things in my life and could be a toxic advice. It all depends on how much price you're willing to pay. But yeah, in my case right now, there is no balance.
Yes, sir. That surely puts your point of how you got hooked into UX design as a filmmaker. So my next question is, like, as you're working as a UI UX developer and pursuing the same as a student, has been completely different. So, can you please tell us about what the day in the life of a UI UX developer feels like?
Yeah, so I primarily work around design. So right now I don't develop. So as a UX designer, I feel like my day begins with talking to a lot of people and I spend a lot of time working on hands-on design. I've recently switched to a new role. So I've been a designer for like 2.5, 3 years, and I realized that I should switch to new endeavors. So now I'm no longer a senior UX designer in Zuddl. I'm like a product marketing manager. So I've switched to marketing. So in marketing, recently I've been learning a lot of tools. I spend a lot of time learning. I spend a lot of time consuming content. The more content I consume, the more things I learn. It just keeps me motivated because if you feel that you are growing, it gives you more incentive to move forward. If you're in a place where you think that you're not growing, you're not learning, it's not exciting enough, then you won't push forward. So I think a lot of my day is spent on my food, nutrition, and sleep. Like I sleep a lot. I talk to a lot of my friends. I scroll a lot of Instagram. I watch a lot of videos on YouTube to keep myself inspired. And then I have this span, like this high energy span of 3 to 4 hours in a day, like very high energy span, where I'm fully inspired, fully refreshed. And when I'm in that zone, I'm just working, working, and working. Like back to back, I'm working, working, and working.
Sure, sir. As you said, that you have to find the right kind of inspiration and you have to keep yourself motivated to create new designs. And this is the case with most of the students where they're not able to find a design or they overexert themselves. So, what tips would you like to give to them?
Oh, yeah. So I think there are a lot of things that you can do. I have shared many, many resources on my YouTube channel. So there's this video on my YouTube channel where I say web design resources. So if you have time, you should always check that out. There's one website called Mobin. Mobin is the website where you can get a lot of mobile design inspiration. In fact, I have recently started our own Discord community. So I'm just pasting that link in the chat. You can just share it with these people. So anybody who's interested in design or who's interested in design conversations, please like join this Discord channel. We have a lot of people doing UI challenges, a lot of people discussing, sharing resources. It's a very, very healthy environment to get started. In fact, people who will complete the 100-day UI challenge on this Discord community are going to get like a handwritten letter from me and a bunch of stickers that we have from our merchandise. So yeah, make sure you join the channel. But yeah, coming back to the resources, I think Mobin is a good place to start. There's this thing called SaaS landing pages. There is ScreenFlow. A lot of websites actually. Yeah, if you go to my Instagram, you will find dozens and dozens of resources.
That's quite informative, and I'm sure our viewers will find it very informative as well. So, as you said, that you have a switch from a developer to a marketing guy. So, how has the industry of UI UX designers and developers changed in the recent years, and what trend is to be expected in the coming years as well?
I think it's pretty much the same. Not sure what the trends are saying, but if you want to prepare yourself for the future, there are two, three things that you must do. Firstly, be up to date with all the AI tools that are entering in the market. So know how Midjourney works, know how to use Chat GPT-3, know about Simplify.ai. There's this video app called Synthesia. All the AI tools. You must know how AI is working because if you're doing stuff that AI will do in the next 5 to 6 years, it's a waste of your time. So be up to date with the latest tools, right? Second is your ability to make systems. See, in the end, design is for getting more business. As a designer, you don't have to think like a typical designer who's just thinking about visual design, branding, and all these things. You have to ask yourself, how do I launch more features in lesser amount of time? How do I build a system that allows me to scale fast? How do I make features that allow scalability, that allow maximum use cases, right? Because as a designer, your responsibility is to help the business. You have to understand the business goals and design an experience that gives that platform to the business to achieve their results. So understanding business, understanding scalability, understanding systems and design systems. If you do that, you will be always be in a better boat.
Thank you, sir. That really helped our viewers, and we also had a few questions in the chat while we were having a conversation. So the first question was asked by by do we need to learn Photoshop?
No, not at all. Photoshop is for graphic design. For UX, you just need Figma.
Yes, sir. And there was a question by Varun Rao. How do you figure out what you want to do? How do you gain more exposure?
You keep doing different things every single month. And when you find that one thing, stick to it. Don't, pull the lever again thinking that you will hit another jackpot. As soon as you find something that you're interested in, double down on it. And it's just a process of iteration. I have also tried many, many things. It takes time.
Uh, yes, sir. And there is also a question from Harsh Pandey. So, could you please release a playlist for beginners in UI/UX?
Oh yeah, so that's the one. This is the link. Uh yeah, 1 second. I am in the chat section as well, so I'm just pasting it here. This is the link. Yeah. It's the same Notion link that I've shared. Otherwise, for the resources, it's my Instagram. So this Instagram is going to help you reach there.
Yes, sir. We'll be sending the link in the chat.
That's done.
Uh, the chat module is sending it, sir. And we have a question from Mohammad Azwan and Abhishek Murthy. Like, who are your design heroes?
I don't know. I don't have any design heroes yet. I look up to a lot of people in general. I look up to like Chris Do, Abhinav Chikara, Saptarshi. These people are like legends. They're still doing very well. They're not legends actually. They're in the scene very actively. But yeah, I really look up to them.
Yes, sir. And we have a question from Tanmay Khade. What do you prefer, documenting on social media or a personal tab?
I document stuff on my Notion. I heavily document stuff on my Notion. On social media also I post stuff, but all my private notes are on my Notion. And then from my Notion, I just upload small, small stuff on my Instagram.
Yes, sir. And since you said that you had an aim that you started design well when you want to become a filmmaker, I would say that was the case with me as well. I started just learning 3D modeling as a technical knowledge for me, but in that sense, I got into the design team here at IST as well. So I would like to know, since we have met a lot of people also, so what's the difference between a person who solely learned design to become a UI/UX developer or such, and someone who just accidentally found it and is just enjoying it?
Yeah, so you're asking, see, when it comes to UX design, you're gonna have to start from scratch. It doesn't matter if you're a graphic designer or a 3D designer. You have to begin from scratch. And to be honest, it all comes down to how interested you are in the subject. If you're really interested in it, nothing matters. You will catch up. You just have to be interested in it and learn from the right resources. That's all.
Yes, sir. And we have a question from Shivani Prasad. Uh, are there any specific gadget requirements
No,
for UI/UX?
no. Any laptop works on any laptop, any computer.
Yes, sir. And we also have a question from Mohammed Owais. Sir, can you tell your journey after from and engineering to UX designer and as a marketing manager?
Oh yeah, so I think like as a marketing manager, it is still going on, but from engineering to UX design, again, I've shared like an in-depth video. Let me share that with you. That would show you what happened after VIT. So I think that's a pretty important video that you guys can see. Let me copy this. And I can also access the chat actually. Let me just paste it in the chat itself. So this is a video where I've shared my entire journey of how I went from engineering, from filmmaking to engineering to UX design. But Arshad, I think I have to drop off for another call. So I think we can end the session now.
Uh, yes, sir. Oh, we can. Thank you, sir. It was amazing having you today. Here we have come to the end of our session. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I hope our viewers also enjoyed it to the fullest and also learned a lot from you. Now, I would like to ask the viewers to fill in the attendance form, which will be sent in the chat box shortly. You can follow us on our social media handles, the link of which is given in the description box. At the end, I would like to thank you, sir, for taking this amazing alumni session with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
And this is your host, Archit Patro, signing off now. Good night. Okay, sir, the stream has been ended, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Arshad. You had a
And sir,
good.
I'm also a budding UI/UX designer as well. I will be looking to your
Oh my
resources a
God, you
lot.
start saying UX design. There's no such thing as UI UX.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. As a UX design, yes, sir.
Yes. And just make sure that you add my Instagram and this Notion link
Yes,
in the
sir.
description of the video because a lot of people would be looking for it. So let me just share. This is my Notion link. I'm just sharing it to Mohammed. So there's this link here. Then put the Discord link as well. You should also join the Discord link because we all hang out on Discord. So just share with other UX designers because I'm trying to build a community of UX designers and people who are interested in UX design. So yeah, these three links. Wait, your chat is not there. So this is the Notion link. Then this is the Discord link. And this is the Instagram link. Yep, I've given you all the links now.
Thank you, sir. And we'll be ending the call right now.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Anush.
So I think he's a bit
He's out.
delayed. Yes, sir.
No.
It's a bit out. Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. All right. See you, folks. Bye.
Bye, sir.